Of the original engines K28 number 476 in use. The journey starts from Durango and runs for some distance along the flat before entering the San Juan National Forest. Once into this 2-million-acre wilderness, the line climbs rapidly, clinging to the side of the impressive Rocky Mountains. Soon after this spot, the line disappears into the valley, leaving the road and rejoining it near the northern terminus of Silverton, which, as the name suggests, was once a flourishing mining area. It was originally built in 1881 to transport miners to various sites and precious metal ore to the smelters. Tourists now reap the benefits of this line, which must rank as one of the most scenic in the world. The following day, 2 locos were in steam, K36 number 481 and the line's only opera book K37 number 497. This machine was a conversion from a standard gauge loco and was employed on ballast train duties. Once the ballast train had cleared the section, number 481 departed with the passenger service. A sight of the Animas River is at a spot known most appropriately as the High Line, and our final shot is of number 481 making its way back to Durango.
Here at the East Lancs Railway, like at so many other preserved lines, the story is one of expansion.
After many frustrating years, the East Lancashire Railway has come of age in a big way. As a result of the efforts and perseverance of a dedicated group of enthusiasts, the railway finally opened between Bury, Bolton Street and Ramsbottom.
Since we started running trains in 1988, it's just taken off. Last year we carried our 150,000 passengers for that year, which puts us in the major league for tourism.
This was readily apparent from the gala weekend held on the 26th and 27th of February 1994. Despite the inclement weather, Bury Bolton Street Station was inundated with thousands of visitors who came to ride the trains and witness the spectacle of many locos in steam. The new shed in Buckley Wells was a hive of activity as the locos were made ready for the day. Few people realize the meticulous planning that goes into the preparation of the locos for the benefit of photographers and enthusiasts.
There are two headboards that I thought fitted this and don't.
Kevin, there's some advantages to being the 1 o'clock call train. You don't have to worry about putting down players.
Well, how's about you put this on, but it faces that way, so the people who are potting don't get to read it.
Like the name.
I mean, it's wrong bracket. There's no Western headboards though. There's a Cambrian code somewhere. That's Jed's though, I think. No, it's not.
Back to Bury Bolton Street, where the train departures continued, many of the trains being double-headed.
Have you got it?
Okay, he's done it.
Oh, he's done it.
No, it's a bad pipe on that.
Bring it on here now, I'll do it for you.
Yeah, it's okay. So there's someone on the man. During one turn, remember it?
Tell Brian Ball when he's ready. Right up.
One of the star attractions was Stanier Pacific 6233 Duchess of Sutherland, loaned from the Bressingham Steam Museum. It was on static display at Bury, much to the delight of the children. Another distinguished guest was the superb Standard Pacific Duke of Gloucester, visiting the railway between mainline duties. The next stage in the expansion program came in 1991, the line being extended to Rawtenstall. During the course of rebuilding, the railway has been provided with invaluable assistance.
Well, we're very, very fortunate insofar as we've got three very good local councils who have backed us right from day one. They apply for grant aid money from derelict land grants to improve the surroundings. It is a conservation area, so we've managed up to now to obtain funds via these various grants.
A further extension is nearly complete, this being from Bury to Haywood, providing a vital link with the main line.
We won't get permission off British Rail to travel over their lines, except for charter trains, which we hope that sooner or later we will be running off here. It'd be very nice to say, well, we can leave Rawtenstall at, say, 9 o'clock in the morning and eventually end up in London on a Santa special or a shoppers special or what have you.
The future looks good for the East Lancashire Railway. Thanks to the dedication of the workforce and the support of the local authorities, it's certain to remain a major tourist attraction for many years to come.
As the last few countries still running steam services are rapidly replacing them by diesel or electric traction, it's gratifying to note that they recognize the importance of keeping steam alive and are preserving locomotives and their maintenance facilities for the benefit of tourists and enthusiasts. A prime example is Sri Lanka, where steam services ended in 1981.
The island has a compact system of 866 miles of 5'6" gauge plus 36 miles of 2'6" gauge track, which runs from Colombo to Avisawela. The line we'll be looking at was opened in 1865, going northeast from Colombo. It was extended in stages into the mountains, finally reaching Badulla in 1924. The steam fleet was steadily replaced by diesel traction in the late 1960s. Fortunately for posterity, not all the engines were cut up, and some just languished out of use at the main shed in Colombo. Credit for persuading the Sri Lanka Railway Administration to restore some of these locos for use on special trains goes to an English travel agent, Clifford Jones. He saw the derelict engines whilst on a visit in 1985, and in conjunction with a local travel agent, they managed to obtain the interest of the railway's general manager who gave the authority for locomotive restoration and the introduction in 1986 of a special steam-hauled tourist train called the Viceroy Special. An important factor which has enabled this far-sighted scheme to become a reality is that the railway has retained its turntables and water columns at virtually all the places originally provided. This means that steam locomotives can travel over the whole island network. Trains can be readily chartered to suit customer destinations and itinerary requirements. The other vital factor in this scheme is that the Railway Administration has some dedicated locomotive staff. They have the expertise and enthusiasm to maintain and operate these locos in service. Before joining the Viceroy Special to Badula, there was a chance to have a look at a short section of the narrow gauge line, which is gradually being widened to broad gauge. Departure from Colombo Maradana station was made on the broad gauge track with 460 class B8C number 240. This is one of several 460s to be found on Sri Lanka, number 240 being a product of the Hunslet Locomotive Company at Leeds. It was built in 1927, the sole survivor of a class of 18 engines, and it's distinguished by a very small boiler. The Sri Lanka narrow gauge has steam delights all of its own, and we'll be looking at these in a later programme. On now to the Viceroy Special, which left Colombo Fort Station on Monday, the 28th of February 1994, behind 460 number 340. A pleasing aspect of the railway is that some passenger engines were named after prominent people or governors of the island. Waiting at Rambukana was another 460 number 213, one of 6 unusual tender tank locos designed for weight distribution, and having a tender with 1 rigid axle and a 4-wheel bogie. This example was built at the Vulcan Foundry Newton-le-Willows in 1922. These were considered useful banking locos, and number 213 was employed on these duties for the long climb up to Kandy. The final leg to Badula was made with number 340 double heading with 213, arriving about lunchtime on Wednesday the 2nd of March 1994. Having arrived at Budula, a complicated turning manoeuvre then followed. Number 340 was too long for the turntable and had to be split from her tender, which was turned separately. On the return journey, another 460 was seen. Number 251, Sir Thomas Maitland, built by Bay & Peacock, Manchester in 1928. The complete return trip took 5 days and passed through some magnificent Sri Lankan scenery with elephants, waterfalls and tea plantations as the perfect accompaniment to the steam activity. These tours run regularly to Kandy and can be chartered to many other parts of the island. So there's plenty of opportunity to sample the steam delights of Sri Lanka for many years to come.
Well, that's all from Making Tracks this week. Next week we shall be in Wales, in Llyn Railway, the first railway in the world to be saved by preservation. We'll be also looking at mainline steam operation and meter gauge workings in India.
There's one country left in the world with its railway system still steam operated, and you can discover where that is in the next programme. So until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.
And the next programme can be seen at the same time tomorrow. Coming up next on BBC Two, how the first Australian settlers made their mark on the newly discovered continent.